Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. The Day of Reckoning goes ahead this Saturday. Anthony Joshua, Otto Wallen, Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, and a feast of boxing action. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I can't wait for the event. And when it first was announced, I was one of those people. Boxing before Christmas. Amazing, unbelievable. Why wouldn't you want that? But to be quite honest with you, I can't be arsed, to be quite honest with you. I just want to switch off for a week or two, right? And don't get me wrong, I can't wait for the event, right? But it just doesn't feel like I'm in that mode where it's like I'm switching off for Christmas time, and it's like I just want to switch off. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not just the fight night. It's the content I'm putting out. It's always putting out breaking news. And don't get me wrong, I'm 24/7 in boxing. Everyone knows this, right? But I don't want boxing again 2 days before Christmas. I did say I wanted it, but I just don't. I think everyone just wants to switch off. I'm sick of hearing about AJ, Wilder, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn. Just leave me alone for a week. No, but in all honesty, I am looking forward to it. It's captivating. Now, a lot of people are saying the card's full of mismatches and all that, but there's a lot of interest, right? There's a lot of interest, especially in the main events, right? Now, the news we got yesterday was that Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder have agreed to a 2-fight deal in Saudi Arabia. Another fight we're not going to get in Europe, America, or anywhere that's not Saudi Arabia. It is what it is, you know. Do we want all the big fights to be in Saudi? No, because you do. It looks like a great place, right? The members of the press are being treated very well, as we see all the time. Again, I'm not seeing any fans. Nothing. I'm not seeing anyone taking pictures saying, "Oh, I'm on my way to Saudi to watch this event." You know, but it is what it is. They're putting the money up. What can you do? And as I say, I am for boxing in different cultures, right? I am for it to have boxing events in different places around the world. But when it's all the big fights being taken away really from the fans, it's like, all right, give us something. But look, what can you say? They're the ones who are making the fights happen, so you've got to appreciate it to an extent. The news yesterday, right, with Anthony Joshua and Wilder agreeing to a 2-fight deal. First fight on March the 9th in Saudi Arabia. I don't understand why fighters come out when they know this fight's going to happen and they try and take it away from it and try and put subliminal messages in. Tyson Fury did it with Usyk. 2 days before it was announced, he was saying it's not going to be Usyk next. He doesn't bring anything to the table, blah, blah, blah. It's announced. Right, Anthony Joshua the other day said, listen, if it's a choice between the world title and fighting Wilder, Fury and Usyk, it's going to be a world title. That world titles mean more than anything. So if you're going to say that, then don't expect to be criticised. Don't come out afterwards grinning like a Cheshire cat, like Frank Warren and Fury, and saying, we knew it was going to happen all the time, when you're telling us it wasn't going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So you can't have it all your own way. If you're going to say stuff like that, you open yourself to criticism. Right, so I don't understand why fighters do that. You're just opening yourself up. Just tell us the fight's going to happen, right? You don't need to tell us that it's not going to happen. Tell us what we want to hear, right? And hopefully it looks like it's going to happen. But I don't like Anthony Joshua's behaviour this week. You know, I'm a big AJ fan. I've supported him non-stop. He's a polarising figure. He's a captivating figure. And I think he'll be truly missed when he's gone from boxing. He gets a lot of stick. But I don't like his behaviour to certain members of the press. He's being cold with them. He's answering one-word answers. He's being awkward. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. If it was me, now people can believe me or not, as I get bigger and bigger, you'll see this, right? I'm not like True Geordie where I'll do things for views and try and disrespect people. But I'm one of those people where I treat you how you treat me, right? You treat people how you want to be respected. So if you're giving someone, a member of the press, they're going out their way to ask you questions, and you're being mardy and arsey with him, I would say, listen, AJ, there's obviously a problem here. What's the problem? Is it me? Do you not like doing press? You're nervous about the fight? What's the issue? That's what I'd say, to be quite honest with you. So I don't like the way he's acting, right? Now, he's either going to look like a genius come Saturday night, or people are going to say the guy's off his head, he's mentally gone, and all that comes with it, right? So we're going to see, because if he wins destructively, it's going to be AJ's back. He was mean and nasty all week. It's the old AJ. If he doesn't win destructively or he loses, it's, well, he was messing. What was his mindset like all week? Do you know what I mean? So we're going to see on Saturday night. Those questions are going to be answered. But there's big pressure on him now. Big pressure. I don't know why they've mentioned it. If I was part of AJ's team, I would not have breathed a word of this. The last thing he needs is more pressure. Now, that Otto Wallen fight, the stakes are ginormous. Ginormous. And same with Wilder and Parker. There's a lot on the stake that there's a lot high stakes. Right? There's a lot of high stakes involved. Now, I don't agree with them mentioning it. It's good as a fight fan, but I think there's more pressure to Anthony Joshua. The last thing he needs is more pressure. But we want to see the Wilder fight. That is the sexy fight. That is the fight we want to see. Forget about belts. I don't care about AJ winning a vacant IBF world title and defending it against people we don't want to see. We didn't want to see the Pulev fight. We didn't want to see the Povetkin fight when he was champion last time. You have your mandatories that come with that. Forget it. We're not interested. You've been a two-time unified champion, right? Let's get the big legacy juicy fights that we want to watch for, where we're counting the days down to watch. We're not counting down the days for you to defend your title in a mandatory against someone who's no one's asked about. Right, these are the fights we want. We want to see Wilder and AJ fight. Two steam trains colliding at each other. It's sexy, it's juicy. That's what we want to see. I'm going to go through the card. I'm not going to go through every single fight, but I'll go through the main fights. AJ and Wallen. Right, I've said that it's a dangerous fight. Right, I don't understand why they picked this fight with a Wilder fight on the horizon. I don't understand it. I thought they picked this fight because Wallen is number 2 with the IBF, and he's going to fight Hrgovic with the vacant. He would have fought Hrgovic with the vacant title. Usyk's going to get stripped when he fights Fury. If he has a rematch, he's contracted to rematch Fury. The IBF said if you have a rematch with Fury for undisputed, you're going to be stripped of your IBF title. So the title is going to become vacant. So it's a power play from AJ, because if he beats Wallen, he can fight Hrgovic for a vacant title. But if the Wilder fight's in play, I don't understand why you'd want to risk it. Why? We're so close. Why risk it? Why? I'd rather them not fight on Saturday. I'd rather them just wrap themselves up in cotton wool, go home, put Home Alone on, and have a glass of wine. Right? That's what I'd rather happen, because I want to see this Wilder fight. I don't want Wallen winning or Parker winning and then it fucks that fight up. I don't want it. I don't even know what happens if any of them loses. They're still going to fight on March. I don't know. Do I have to see a rematch of any of them losers, whoever they lose to? It's like, I just want to see that fight. But the fight itself, now, listen, Wallen is no mug, right? He doesn't do anything great. He keeps a steady pace. He's a southpaw. I actually compared him to an annoying fly, right? Now, that's not a disrespect. That's actually a compliment, where he's got this knack of always being in front of your face. Right? You can hit him with everything, and he's always going to be there. And he might not be a one-punch knockout merchant, but when you get repeatedly bit, eventually he's going to hit, right? So if he stands in your face for long enough, he's going to hurt you, right? So he knows how to stay in the fight. He does this check right hook, which is quite good, where he might be backing up on the ropes and he'll do a right hook and then pivot off. And AJ's got to be careful of that. He's got to be careful of the jab and the straight backhand from the southpaw stance. You know, AJ's not great with southpaws, but he's got the two Usyk fights under his belt. Wallen isn't Usyk. But the problem I have is, I don't know what AJ's going to turn up. I don't know. We all want the destructive AJ, you know, Eddie Hearn's giving it the old, he's mean, he's nasty, he's back. But I think it's going to be another safety approach. I think he'll be very cautious because the stakes are so high. I don't think he's going to go in there and look to bomb Wallen out straight away. Right? I think he's going to try and outbox him, and I don't want to see that. I don't think that's his game. I want him to be vicious. Yes, you can't go steaming in. Right? It's heavyweight boxing. You get punched once, you get put down. AJ's already experienced that, right? And you can tell it has affected him to an extent. You know, he ain't rushing in anymore. But I don't want to see him keeping it a slow pace. That's Wallen's world, right? Wallen will keep a slow pace, right? To beat him, you've got to be on him. Let him feel it. Let him feel the body shots. Put high pace on him. If AJ hits him on the chin, he'll knock him out. But if AJ's boxing around with him and he's simmering to his pace and he gets to 5-6 rounds and he's hitting with shots and Walling's still there and he gets caught with a shot on the chin and his leg buckles a bit, is AJ going to start doubting himself? You know, are those doubts going to creep into his mind? You know, all the different voices in his head, the trainers. I'm not a fan of a fighter changing trainer every 2 minutes. I don't think that's healthy. But AJ is a fighter where he does learn quickly. Right? That's evident in his life. Do you know what I mean? He took boxing up late, so he's one of them who learns quickly. Right? But I just feel at the moment AJ's mentality is being questioned. Right? And it's rightly so, because he is one of those fighters, and I can guarantee this. I don't know him, but I can guarantee that he's one of those fighters who questions himself at every second, for every minute he's in a boxing gym. Or when he's sparring, if he has a bad round, it will linger and it'll affect him. Or if he throws a combination, he doesn't throw it right, he'll ask why he's not throwing it right, and he'll try and get it right. Whereas other fighters might have a bad round in sparring, they might even get knocked down, forget about it, push it off, go again. Right, so you can tell AJ's a confidence fighter, right? He's a confidence fighter, and that's born from starting boxing late. No matter how much he's achieved, he ain't a Tyson Fury where he's been boxing 6-7 years of age. Do you know what I mean? So there's doubts that can creep into his mind, and if he hasn't got Walling out after 6 rounds, are those doubts gonna creep again? I think he could labour to a point victory. I hope I'm wrong. Listen, it's hard to predict heavyweight fights because they can end in a flash of a pan. It could end in the first round, the last round, the middle round. It only takes one punch, right? So they are quite hard. They are hard to predict. But I expect a very cautious approach from AJ again. I think the AJ of years ago who went in there and steamrolled people, it's gone. I think we have to accept it. Listen, fighters mature as more money comes in. You know, and there's higher stakes on the line. They take a safety approach first, right? And you have to in the heavyweight division, especially when you've been stung like AJ has against Ruiz. So I don't blame him for that, but I just don't think we're going to get this exciting AJ that we got, 5-6 years ago. I can't see it. I think he might even be behind in the fight, and maybe he'll knock Walling out late on with a punch. He might be behind and he gets the knockout, but I think he'll labour to a points victory by few points. I think Walling will cause him trouble, but I expect AJ to win. Hopefully it's in a devastating fashion, but I just think it'll be a cautious approach, and I think he'll win on the scorecards. Deontay Wilder and Joseph Parker. Again, this is a fascinating fight. There's so many questions to ask. Deontay Wilder's completed 1 round in 2 years. That Fury fight, the last one, was hellacious beating. Hellacious. Right? You don't recover from that. If this goes past 5-6 rounds and he's getting it on the chin, he could go. I don't know what to expect. What you do know is that Deontay Wilder is going to go in there and look to take Parker's head clean off his shoulders. Right? And I posted yesterday on my social media that I've come to really respect Deontay Wilder. I used to be that guy who would say he's technically awful, probably the worst heavyweight champion of all time, terrible resume. But it all changed in the trilogy because he got beat in the rematch. And a lot of people forget, no one wanted to see the trilogy with Fury. No one wanted to see it. He got beaten up in the second fight. He got outboxed for nearly every round in the first fight. I know we caught him late on, and that famous moment with Fury getting up from that knockdown. Don't know how he did. But there were 2 fights there when Fury dominated. So no one wanted to see it. And Wilder was adamant in the build-up. He wants the rematch. But the trainer shouldn't have stopped the fight. He wants it. He wants the fight. And I didn't really believe it. But then I watched the fight, and the way he just kept coming forward, and he took shot after shot from a big giant like Tyson Fury. Just, even when he got knocked out, was stopped, he still managed to get up. I mean, my respect for him went like that. He earned more respect off me in that loss than any of his wins, right? Because he proved he's a bad motherfucker. He's a bad motherfucker. But we've yet to see how he's going to respond to that, because the Helenius fight lasted seconds, so you can't take anything away from that. Parker's busy. Parker's experienced, right? Okay, his levels have dipped a bit, but he's no mug Parker. If he gets on the inside and starts letting his hands go, and Wilder doesn't get him out of there in the first 5-6 rounds. It's very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Parker won. I wouldn't be surprised if he stopped him. I wouldn't be surprised if Wilder knocked him out in the first round. I don't know how to analyse this. I'll be honest with you. It's one of the first time I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know because my heart is saying Wilder's going to get issues. He's going to have problems. He's going to get issues. But my head is saying he could knock Parker out within 2 rounds, 3 rounds. So I don't know. The game plan for Parker is he can't box at a distance, right? He's a small guy. Wilder's big. If he starts boxing at a distance and he gives Wilder time to leverage with his right hand and the hooks, what Wilder does very well, the reason why he gets so much power on his punches, he gets every inch of that big, long, gangly frame into his punches, and you see it, he leverages it so well. You can't give him a chance. You have to get in close, like smother him, breathe on him, get on the inside, tie him up for little body shots, right? Fast body shots, go to the top, right? Go to the top, go to the body, try and whip an uppercut to the solar plexus, get really busy on the inside. That's what Parker has to do. Be busy, busy, busy. But it only takes one punch from Deontay Wilder. If you're asking me what's going to happen, I think Wilder will come from behind. I think he'll be losing the fight. And I think whether it's the last round or the middle rounds, or whenever it is, I think he'll knock Parker out. I think Parker will get hit. He's not got the best head movement, but I think at some point he's going to get hit on the chin. If you get hit on the chin by Wilder, it's good night. But look, anything can happen. That's why it's fascinating. I'm really interested in this fight to see if these questions are going to be answered that I've just mentioned. Right. Daniel Dubois and the drugs cheat Jarrell Miller. Right? I've absolutely no respect for him. I don't think he should be on this card. It doesn't sit right with me that a guy who was a repeat offender of failing drug tests gets the biggest purse of his career when he's talking around like he's flying around like he's Muhammad Ali, like he's done something in the game. People try and compare it to Conor Benn. Right, I don't know why you'd mention Conor Benn with Jarrell Miller. Conor Benn's not a serial offender. He's done everything possible to try and clear his name, whether you agree with him or not. Right, he could have fought on different licenses. He could have fought abroad. He took 14 months out the ring. That's bigger bans than most what boxers get for failing drug tests. Right, and Frank Warren said in the interview that Miller's fighting on it because he's taking his punishment. That's what life's about. Take your punishment and continue. But where does it stop? He's reoffended 3 times. He was popped in 2004 in Glory in kickboxing before the Joshua fight, and these are powerful stimulants. He got popped for, he got banned, came back and got popped again. I mean, he's taking the piss. And now he's earning the biggest bag of his career. What example is that to fighters out there? I'm sorry, he should be nowhere near the game. He should be kicked out of it, right? Once, whatever. I don't agree with banning someone for life for failing a drug test once. Look, people make mistakes. It's rife in boxing, right? No matter what anyone wants to say, if you want to be honest and you ask people in the game and they're being honest, drugs are rife in boxing. It's as simple as that. So I don't agree with banning someone for life for popping the first time, because maybe it was an accident, right? But when you do it 2 or 3 times, you need to go. You need to go away from the sport. The fight, what's going to happen? He looks like a fat slob, Miller. I think, what did he say? Well, he's 328 pounds. Is that what, I don't know if he's lying, but he looks big. I mean, that's over 23 stone. I mean, I find it impossible how you can't lose weight when you're boxing training. Like, is he just sitting there lifting weights? I don't understand. Has he even trained for this fight? Is he just looking to knock Dubois out in the first 2 rounds? What happens if it goes past 6 rounds? Now, I may not like Miller, but he is a tough guy, right? And he can box. And Dubois, question marks in there. I never want to say boxers quit. You will never hear that from me. But when you're taking knees and you're not getting up, and it's a few times you've done that, then there's question marks about your mentality when it gets into the trenches. Right? That's the way life is, unfortunately. But I think Dubois will beat him up, to be quite honest with you. I think he'll be too sharp. He's got to be careful he doesn't get caught with a stupid shot. I think he'll keep it at range, and I think he'll pepper him with shots and bust him up to the body and hit him with right hands that will go to Jarrell Miller, shake Jarrell Miller to his boots. I expect Dubois to claim a stoppage or just win comfortably on points. But again, who knows? It's heavyweight boxing. Dimitri Bivol and Lyndon Arthur. Now, I like Lyndon Arthur. He's from my city of Manchester. Great story, changed his life round, and I'm so glad he's earning this money. Right, he deserves it. His team deserves it. He's dedicated himself to the sport, and I'm interested to see it just because I know Lyndon. Lyndon has a sort of cult following. He's always relaxed, and people in boxing they like him. He's not cocky. Don't go around shooting his mouth off. I think people like Lyndon. People want him to do well. Obviously, he's up against Bivol, but the thing about this fight, I think it actually works in Lyndon's favour that there's been a short time period from when it was announced till fight night, because I've been in the gym with Lyndon, right? With Lyndon, I've seen people spar him. I've been up close with him, right? I've seen him spar many times, many rounds, right? So I've been close up. I've seen him as close can be. Access that not many people get unless you're a fighter or you're part of a fighter's team, right? So I've seen Lyndon spar a lot, so I've got a lot of experience. Well, I've got a bit of experience in giving my opinion on Lyndon because I've seen him close up, and he is one of those confident type of fighters, and I think that the fact that there's not been a lot of time to digest this and take this on, I think will work in his favour. The Anthony R rematch, it was building up for ages and ages. Was it going to be signed? Was it not going to be signed? It might have been postponed a few times, I think, because of COVID, and and he got taken out, didn't he? But with this, I don't think there's been a lot of time for him to really digest that he's fighting people, because if he did, maybe he'd be thinking, fuck it now, got a bloody fight on here. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's been done that fast that I think it'll work in his favour. I think he'll go in there, relax. He's earning a lot of money. You can see it on his face. Very nice. Let's not forget it's very nice getting this money from the Saudis. So I think he'll be a confident and happy Lyndon Arthur. Look, he's fighting one of the best fighters in the world. I don't think Bivol will stop in 2 or 3 rounds. I don't think that at all. I think Lyndon might actually surprise people. There's one thing about Lyndon. He's got a world-class jab. He always has had that, right? Whether he doubles it, trebles it, it's hard to read. Bivol will be finding it hard to read for a few rounds. He whips it up. He throws it from the hips. He can throw it straight. He can throw it straight. He can screw it. Sometimes it's fast. Sometimes it's ramrod. He's got a high level jab, Lyndon. He always has done. Right? Old school. The thing with Lyndon is you want to see him throw his right hand more. I've seen it in the gym where he throws his right hand. He's a dangerous motherfucker. And you can whip an uppercut in Lyndon. He's got a decent uppercut. I mean, imagine the scenes if he throws a jab and he lands a right hand from the gods and it knocks Bivol out. Look, right, I know there's a slim chance of that happening, but just imagine. I think the internet would break. I'd be screaming. The TV would go off its hinges. I'm telling you, it'd be unbelievable if that happened. And that's what this fight gives you. I'm looking forward to it. Ultimately, I expect Bivol to be too classy and too good. I think he will either stop Lyndon late on and win on points. I think Lyndon will do a lot better than what people think. Right? That's what I think. Right, what else have we got? Jai Apataya against Elizarro. I'm not interested in this fight. No disrespect to Elizarro, but he shouldn't be in the ring with him. I know the IBF have been extremely harsh with Apataya, if that's how you pronounce it, because at first I was a bit critical of this opponent and why is he not fighting a ranked fighter, but it's all come out that Bradis has been injured, right? He's agreed to step aside. He's agreed to fight him in February, March, or whatever. So why is the IBF stripped him? What's up with him, right? Just let him fight. Let him have a voluntary defence, But I still want to see his fight. I think Apataya is an unbelievable fighter. I think he's the best cruiserweight in the world. It's an amazing fighter. I think he'll just beat Zorro up. I have no interest in this fight, to be quite honest with you. Frank Sanchez Jr. Far. I mean, are they even in Saudi Arabia? I've seen nothing of him. I've literally seen nothing of him. What can you say? Junior Far's pretty tough, to be quite honest, but I expect Sanchez to knock him out. Hergovitz and Mark Demore. Bloody hell, that's a name from the past, isn't it? Remember him fighting David A on Dave? It was crap then, to be honest with you. And I'm sure he's crap now. No disrespect to him, that is. It's a nonsense fight. Hrgovic will batter him. This Makhmudov fella, he's a scary motherfucker, him. You never see anyone mentioning his name. Like, I do like watching them fight. He's a scary motherfucker. I want to see him in with one of the top fighters in the division. You know, he's creeping up there with the WBC. He's fighting that Cabell, I'm sure. Didn't he beat Chisora a few years ago? You know, I'm interested in this fight. I think Makhmudov will claim the stoppage, but, you know, I'm interested in it. He's a scary motherfucker. But it's a good card. It's the best card I've ever seen. Now, yes, you can question some of the matchup, but the depth of it is great entertainment. You know, you can't knock it. It's great entertainment. It really is. And look, the favourites might all win, right? Might all win conclusively, and then you'll criticise the card a bit. But there has to be something. There has to be a shock here, right? In all these fights, what is it going to be though? Which fight is it? Is there going to be a shock? That is what makes this card compelling. It draws you to it, because we all know that if there's one thing about boxing is just when you think something is going to happen, it can change like that, right? And now we've got the Wilder fight. We're this close to getting it. We don't want anything to rock the boat. Just AJ and Wilder, just win the fights. Just win them. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if it's exciting. Just win it so we can get to March and we can get that Wilder fight on, because that's what I want to see. Right, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with my assessment? If there's a shock on this card, where do you see it taking place? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.